Hi, I'm Doug Rose. I am with Emergency Plumbing Service in Delaware, Ohio. I am going to show you how to change out a fill valve. Now, our recommended fill valve is the Fluid Master. We use the Fluid Master Pro. You can use just a regular Fluid Master from Home Depot. This Fluid Master is pretty universal. It goes in most toilets. There's a few that it won't go into, specialty toilets and things like that. So we're gonna get this out of the box, and step one is you want to make sure you shut the water off to the toilet, and then drain everything out as much as you can. So go ahead and do that. If you come in here, you'll see this push-pull valve. So pull is off and push is to turn it back on. I highly recommend, if you can, replacing those with a quarter turn shut-off valve. Those things are terrible. So we'll go ahead and shut it off. We're going to pull this lid off. Make sure you put this lid on the ground, not on the toilet or on the sink over there or somewhere up high, because it will get knocked off and it will break. So put it on the ground, somewhere safe, somewhere you're not going to break it. We're going to flush this toilet, and we're going to hold the handle down. We want to get as much water out of there as we can. And that, if you have a shop vac, go ahead and shop vac that out. Or when you start to take this thing out, get a bucket and put a bucket under there. I have been doing this a long time, so I'll use a few rags, and we'll kind of get the water out, or we'll get the water to stop when I take that thing out. I'll put my hand on it. So water's off, toilet's drained out to where we need. Let's go ahead and open up the box. And these are the pieces in the box. So you have your fill valve. This seal that's on the bottom here, you want to pull that off. Push the center ring out of here. That is a washer just in case you need it for your supply line, which most supply lines have this washer already on them, so you don't need that washer. So you can stick it back in the box. You go ahead and slide this up on the bottom here, all the way to that stop. Now I like to kind of get a measurement on this before I put it in the toilet. So I kind of measure it to the top of the toilet. Now this ring is the lock ring, so this kind of sets the height of the shut-off valve here, the fill valve. It's very important when you adjust this that you put that lock ring back down. Okay? You want to make sure that lock ring is in place. If not, that top's going to blow off and you're going to have a flood. So I kind of measure it, and I get the top of this kind of close to the top of the tank, within maybe a half inch or so. And we might have to adjust it when we get it in there. But so we will go ahead, and the first step is taking this thing out. Now that we're ready and we have this ready, you want to take off the supply line, which is right here. That's the supply. This is the supply line. It's hooked to the valve down here. And one of the reasons I don't like these valves is because they're crimped on. You can't even change that supply line. If it goes bad, you have to change the valve. So get those valves out of there if you can. So we'll have a little bit of water coming out here when we undo this. Now sometimes you can get them off with just your hands. Other times you might need to use a pair of channel locks and get in there and turn it to loosen it. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So then see, we got a little bit of water, but the water's off. And then you will need your channel locks. Well, any type of wrench like this will work. Channel locks, preferred brand for our company, and they're a plumber's best friend. They're about the only tool we need, really. So we'll get under there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it with my head in the way, and we'll loosen this nut up. Now you want to hold this piece in place while you're loosening that nut up, so it doesn't go anywhere. So we'll go ahead and take this nut off. So now if you see, we still don't have any water leaking out, but I'm gonna put my hand on the bottom of that, and as soon as I lift it up, I put my hand through, so you can see my hand down there's covering the hole. Now we'll take the new one while we still got that, and we'll push it down in there, and we get a little bit of water out, but no big deal. Then we'll take our new nut right there, and we'll put it on. You want to get it on there, hand tighten it as much as you can. Hand tighten it as much as we can. Now you can read the instructions in the fill valve package. They come with instructions. So we'll take our channel locks again. Now that we have it hand tight as much as we can, take your channel locks. We'll just tighten it up a little bit more, okay? Just maybe a half turn or so to a full turn. Then kind of get the feel for it after you do it so long. So now that's tight. We'll go ahead and we'll connect the supply line back on. Now again, hand tight as much as you can. Take your channel locks, give it another quarter turn, maybe even less. Now, I set my height, but I set it here a little bit low. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise it up. So you reach down in here and you grab that ring, you lift it up a couple of notches and you push it back down. So that's about the right height. Now, all right, so you'll take your tube from your fill valve, it came out of your package, and you'll stick it right onto the fill valve right here. There's this little outlet for water right on the edge of this fill valve. And then this piece is to hold this tube in place down the overflow tube. Now you have to have some water going down there. Your toilet bowl is not going to fill up correctly. So put this on there. One thing you want to make sure, when we put it on there, you don't want it sticking out the top. You don't want it sticking on the handle or things won't work right. You just want to make sure it's down and out of the way. I curl it. Now you can cut this off if you want, if you have a knife, but I usually just curl it like that. That way it's out of the way in the back of the toilet. Get the old fill valve out. You want to make sure that when you take this out, a lot of times you'll get this rubber piece, it'll turn things black. So you just want to make sure that you don't get that on your customer's floor. Stick that back in there, your customer or your own. And now we'll fill it up. We'll turn the valve back on down here, wipe up some water, put this valve back on, and we'll fill up the toilet. All right, so our toilet tank is full, but we're having an issue with the water level being too high. As you can see, this is just running and running and running. Water's going down the fill tube here. So this knob right here adjusts the float and the level of the float. So we're gonna turn that counterclockwise to lower that float. And as you can see, that water has stopped, but we want to flush the toilet again, or at least let enough water out to make it start to fill back up. Just let out slowly. Once it starts to fill back up, you can kind of see where it's going to shut off. So in this case, we're still too high. We'll lower that some more, and we'll do it one more time. Hopefully one more time. Now we'll just wait and see where it comes up to. You want it, I mean, you got to make sure it's below this level. So we're pretty perfect right there. That's where we like to put them. I like to put them as high as possible. It gives you the best flush on most toilets. Sometimes you need to adjust it down, but you'll get the hang of it as you're doing it. So once we get done with that, we'll want to flush this toilet, make sure everything's good, make sure everything's working right. I like to put the lid back on and then flush it again, so you can tell that the handle's not going to hit or this piece isn't going to hit. So you just want to make sure everything works good. You know, if you lift up your seat, flush it, watch it, make sure everything goes down, and then it didn't go down. So let's give it one more time, and we'll let it fill up and we'll flush it. So everything seems to work okay. We could use a little bit better flush, and that's got to do with the flapper. And if you watch our other video, you'll be able to see how to replace one of those.